Good morning everyone, another day on the E36 today. Going to be getting a bit more serious about the whole drifting thing, and today I will be welding the diff on this 318 IS. And now just a quick all-important test just to make sure it hasn't got an LSD, which I know it hasn't, but the easiest way is just to spin one wheel, put it in gear. So I'm going to be spinning this one anti-clockwise, and as you can see, that wheel is spinning in the opposite direction to this wheel, so therefore that is an open diff. You call these ones, I think, small case because it's on the 318, it's not a 6-cylinder one, and I'll show you what's involved in welding it. And although it's not the hardest of jobs, it's quite involved with the amount of tools you need, so I'll probably miss them out, but the basics are you're going to need a breaker bar or maybe an impact wrench, depend what fits, something to catch the old gear oil from the diff. I'll show you the method I'm going to go for. A pump and some hoses to pump the new fluid in. What else? This is probably the hardest thing that you probably won't have, is you need a 14mm hex socket or just a massive 14mm Allen key, and that's for, if you can see these two bolts, the lower one is the drain for the diff, so to get the oil out, and the top one is to get the oil in, and they're both 14mm. So that's probably the most specialist tool. I managed to get like a set from Machine Mart. That was the only shop that seemed to actually do them in store, but I'm sure you can get them online for cheaper, about 15 quid. And this is a 1/2 inch drive set, so you need a 1/2 inch or 3/8 with an adapter. Going to need some general sockets as well for the other bolts, just to get the diff case off. I'll go through the sizes in a bit. Possibly an extension and or vice grip if you haven't got room. Always have a vice grip, that's my recommendation. Gets you out of a lot of situations. And then brake cleaner for getting the oil and just out of the diff really and cleaning it. And I missed off the list, but it's pretty simple. You're just going to need a jack and some jack stands to get the rear of the car up before you start working on it safely. So the process which I'm going to follow to weld the diff is, first of all, I'm just going to drain all the fluid out of the open diff, catch that in that milk carton, because I'm going to reuse this oil. I know it sounds crazy, but basically catch all that oil, then get the diff case off, clean it all up, and then make the welds. And then once it's all welded up, because I'm not the best welder, I know there's going to be quite a lot of slag and residue in the diff itself, so I'm going to put the case back on, and then I'm going to fill it with the old oil from the open diff, and then I'm going to have the car and jack stands and turn it over basically, and run it through some gears, and using this old oil just see if it still works. And then once I know there's nothing majorly wrong and the slag is kind of circulated through this old oil, drain all the old oil out, excuse me, and then put some new fresh oil in once I know all the slag and stuff is, been taken out of this old oil. So that's pretty much it. Right, so the first step is to drain the diff by putting your 14mm hex bolt into the lower drain plug, and this could be tricky. Okay, it took a few cranks, but it's loose now. Just gotta have patience with these things. Might be tricky one-handed. It's gonna go everywhere, but hey ho. sort of caught it, and then just gotta be patient. It's a bit more secure now, but quite simply just leave it to drain fully until you get bored. Bit messy. So now the diff's pretty much drained, you're going to want to tackle these smaller bolts. They're 16mm each. There's one at the top there as well, and one there. We'll remove this socket. Well, and to make life a bit easier, you can remove the sway bar, or trim. You can just take the bolts off either side here and push the whole thing up and put zip ties on it. So it's a 13mm either side. You just need either 2 spanners or a socket and a spanner, and then you can just hold this thing up with zip ties. So it gives you a bit more clearance with these top bolts than these big bolts. So now just get your brake cleaner, spray the hell out of it, and just get rid of all the excess oil before welding. There's with the case off. There's a smaller bolt right at the top which I forgot about, but you get the idea. The idea is to weld. Right, that's just going on the light as well. Weld the corners. So the diff is fully welded now. You need to do both sides as well. Forgot to mention that. So just spin it over and you'll see the other side. Next step is to put the case back on and put the old oil in, so we can pick up any of the slag and just drain it out. So now the oil's in, gonna give it a test drive, or a test spin. Things could go wrong here, but let's see. It's not blown up. So forgot the traction control and ABS unit. I think that's sending it a bit funny, so take that off. And as I was on about with the fuses, you kind of need, if you wanted to go sideways, to get rid of the ABS and ASC. Not sure if you can see that, but their fuses 10, 21 and 38. You get a nice map here, so kind of hard to show both, but where it says 1 to 10 here, it means 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 31 to 46, and 21 to 38 to 30. So you just find them and get rid of them. diff has gone through the rough oil. I'm going to drain it again and put the nice oil in, and hopefully it doesn't blow up.